Do you wake up once or more during the night to pee and wonder why it keeps happening no matter what you do? You're not alone. For millions of older adults, nighttime trips to the bathroom have become a frustrating routine, stealing away precious sleep and leaving them groggy and tired the next day. But what if I told you there are simple things, practical, science-backed adjustments that can actually help you sleep through the night without interruption? That's what we're here to talk about today. In this video, we're going to walk through 6 specific habits that many seniors use to naturally reduce nighttime urination. And no, we're not talking about taking another pill or undergoing some expensive treatment. These are everyday changes that can truly make a difference, ones that help your bladder stay calm and quiet through the night. You'll not only feel more rested in the morning, but you'll also have more energy, clearer thinking, and a greater sense of control over your body. So, if you've been silently suffering and thinking this is just part of getting older, I want you to stay with me, because the truth is, you have more power over this than you might realize. Let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, a bladder calming evening routine. One of the most powerful things you can do to stop those nightly bathroom visits is to build a bladder-friendly wind-down routine. And no, this doesn't mean you can't drink water at all. It means learning when and how much to drink in the hours before bedtime, so your bladder has time to settle. Many people unknowingly sip water or tea right up until they go to bed, thinking they're staying hydrated. But what really happens is that the liquid hasn't had time to process through the kidneys and bladder before you lie down. So a few hours later, your body wakes you up with one message: empty me. And there goes your sleep. By simply adjusting your evening rhythm, drinking more fluids earlier in the day, and cutting off liquids about 2 to 3 hours before bed, you can dramatically reduce nighttime urination. But there's more. What you drink matters just as much as when you drink it. Caffeine, for example, is a diuretic, which means it actually pulls water from your system and pushes it out faster. That's why having a cup of coffee or tea, even green tea in the evening, can trigger more urine production and lead to those dreaded 2 a.m. wake-up calls. Alcohol does the same thing, and so do many carbonated beverages. You might think, but I only have 1 small glass at night. Even that can be enough to tip the scales when your bladder's already sensitive. I knew a man named Richard, 78 years old, who used to wake up 4 or 5 times a night. His doctor had ruled out any serious conditions, so he thought it was just his age. But when he started this routine, cutting off drinks after dinner, avoiding his usual glass of wine, and winding down with a quiet book instead of the evening news, he noticed a change within 3 days. Within a week, he only got up once. And after 2 weeks, he made it through the night without waking at all. His wife said it was like living with a new man, rested, present, and no longer falling asleep in his chair by 10 a.m. The point is, your bladder isn't just a container, it's a responsive organ, influenced by your daily habits and your body's internal rhythm. And if you give it the right conditions, it can behave better than you might expect. You don't need a total lifestyle overhaul. Just a gentle shift in timing, content, and evening signals can make a world of difference. So if you're tired of tiptoeing to the bathroom at 3 in the morning, this is your first and simplest place to start. Number 2, strengthening your pelvic floor muscles. Another often overlooked reason seniors wake up frequently to urinate is because the muscles that support the bladder, especially the pelvic floor muscles, have become weak over time. These muscles are like a sling that holds everything in place. And when they're strong, they help you hold it longer, reduce the sudden urge, and allow your bladder to fully empty. But when they weaken, either due to age, lack of exercise, or even childbirth decades ago, your bladder doesn't get the support it needs to function well, especially at night when you're lying down and pressure shifts inside your abdomen. Now, this doesn't mean you need to start lifting weights or doing intense workouts. It simply means you need to reconnect with muscles you might not have thought about in years. The most well-known and effective exercise for this is called the Kegel. And yes, it's not just for women. Men benefit just as much, if not more, especially as they age and deal with prostate changes. A Kegel exercise involves gently tightening the muscles you would use to stop the flow of urine. You hold the squeeze for about 5 seconds, then relax for 5 seconds. Doing this 10 to 15 times, 3 times a day, can dramatically improve control. But here's the part many people miss. You have to be consistent and patient. These muscles are small and slow to respond, so it can take a few weeks to start noticing a difference. And it's not about doing them during a bathroom emergency. It's about building the strength beforehand, so So those middle-of-the-night moments don't happen in the first place. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until you have a cavity. You brush every day to prevent one. I once spoke with a woman named Eleanor, age 81, who was waking up 2 or 3 times a night to pee. She thought it was just part of getting older, but she agreed to try the Kegel routine. She placed reminders around her home, one on her bathroom mirror, one on the fridge, and one by her favorite armchair, to help her remember to do them 3 times a day. After 3 weeks, she was already seeing a change. I didn't even think about it, she told me. One morning I woke up and realized I slept all the way through. I couldn't believe it. You see, your body is capable of adjusting, even in your 70s and 80s. The bladder and the muscles that support it respond to regular training, just like any other part of your body. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And the best part? You can do these exercises anywhere. Sitting in your favorite chair, standing at the sink, or lying in bed. No equipment, no fancy memberships, just you and your commitment to getting a better night's sleep. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, resetting your fluid timing habits. One of the most powerful changes you can make to stop waking up in the middle of the night to pee is surprisingly simple. Shift when you drink your fluids during the day. Many seniors, without realizing it, drink most of their water or other beverages late in the afternoon or evening. It's often a matter of convenience or habit. Maybe they get busy during the day, or perhaps they just feel thirstier later on. But this timing can wreak havoc on your nighttime bladder control, even if you're not drinking large amounts. Your kidneys don't shut off at night. If anything, in older adults, kidney function may actually cause more urine production during sleep. So if you load up on liquids between dinner and bedtime, even unintentionally, that fluid is going to demand attention while you're trying to rest. The bladder doesn't have a do not disturb button. It doesn't care that you're finally comfortable and warm under the covers. It will still send that urge to your brain at 2 or 3 in the morning. So how do you fix this? The trick is to front load your hydration. That means drinking more water in the morning and early afternoon, and tapering off in the evening. For example, try having a full glass of water first thing after you wake up, then another with breakfast. Throughout the morning and early afternoon, sip regularly. But by around 6 p.m., begin to slow it down. By 8 p.m., you should have already consumed about 80% of your total daily fluid intake. And that doesn't mean you have to go to bed thirsty. You can take small sips if your mouth is dry, but avoid drinking whole glasses of anything close to bedtime unless medically required. Now, here's something most people don't realize. Not all fluids are equal when it comes to nighttime urination. Caffeinated drinks like coffee or tea, even decaf in some cases, act as diuretics. That means they tell your body, let's flush things out, which leads to more urine production. And alcohol, even just a small glass of wine, also ramps up urine output while disrupting your natural sleep cycles. So even if you fall asleep quickly after a nightcap, you're far more likely to wake up later with a full bladder and feel groggy in the morning. I remember Frank, a 74-year-old, who couldn't figure out why he was still waking up every night around 3 a.m., even though he didn't have a huge bladder issue. He tried cutting back liquids entirely, which left him dehydrated and uncomfortable. But after reviewing his habits, we noticed he was sipping on herbal tea and water steadily from dinner until bedtime. Once he moved that fluid intake up, still getting plenty of water, but earlier in the day, he started sleeping straight through the night more often. I didn't know timing mattered so much, he told me. Now I plan my day around better sleep. That's the message here. You don't have to drink less, you just have to drink smarter. Shift the pattern. Give your body the support it needs to do what it's naturally designed to do. A few conscious changes today can mean a peaceful, uninterrupted night of sleep tomorrow. And you deserve that. You deserve rest that feels restful, not one interrupted by trips to the bathroom every couple of hours. Number 4, rebuilding pelvic floor strength. Let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention when it comes to nighttime urination, and that's the strength of your pelvic floor. Now I know the moment people hear pelvic floor, they think it's only a women's issue. But let me be crystal clear, both men and women have a pelvic floor. And as we age, those muscles tend to weaken unless we actively work to keep them strong. And when those muscles lose tone, one of the first signs is, you guessed it, leaking, or waking up to pee more often during the night. The pelvic floor is a group of muscles and connective tissues that support your bladder, your bowel, and for women, the uterus. These muscles play a vital role in holding everything in and controlling when it gets released. If they're weak, your bladder starts to slip out of that ideal position. That means you feel urgency faster, can't hold it as long, and are more likely to wake up to use the bathroom even if your bladder isn't all that full. That urge becomes louder and more frequent, not because your kidneys are pumping out buckets of urine, but because your body just isn't managing it as efficiently as it used to. But here's the good news. You can strengthen those muscles with just a few minutes of effort a day. And no, you don't need to join a gym or use any fancy equipment. All it takes is a simple routine of what are called Kegel exercises. You've probably heard the name, but you may not be exactly sure how to do them or whether they even apply to you. So here's what you do. First, locate the muscles you use when you try to stop urinating midstream. Those are your pelvic floor muscles. You don't actually want to practice while peeing. Just try that once to find the right muscles. Then while sitting or lying down, contract those muscles for about 5 seconds, then relax for 5 seconds. Start with 5 to 10 reps a day and gradually work your way up. The key is to breathe normally and avoid tightening your stomach, thighs, or buttocks. Just focus on that internal lift. Now, consistency is everything here. You won't see instant results, but after a few weeks of daily practice, most seniors report improved control, fewer leaks, and yes, fewer middle-of-the-night trips to the bathroom. And don't let embarrassment keep you from doing this. No one has to know. You can do it while watching TV, waiting at a red light, or sitting at the kitchen table. You don't need anyone's permission to take your bladder health into your own hands. I remember Susan, an 81-year-old woman I used to see in our community group, who struggled with constant urgency and frequent nighttime bathroom trips. She told me she felt helpless, like her body was betraying her. But once she started practicing pelvic floor exercises consistently, her confidence began to return. After 2 months, she was sleeping through the night 4 to 5 times a week. That's not a miracle. That's muscle memory being rebuilt. That's the body healing from the inside out. And let's not forget the emotional side of this. Waking up multiple times a night, rushing to the bathroom, worrying about leaks, it's exhausting. It chips away at your sense of control. But rebuilding those small but mighty muscles can give you back a sense of ownership over your own body. You deserve to feel steady and secure. You deserve to sleep without anxiety. This is not about youth, it's about strength, about restoration. Your age doesn't define your capacity to improve, not one bit. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, timing and light exposure in the evening. One factor that quietly affects your nighttime urination, but hardly anyone talks about, is the role of light in daily timing. Yes, believe it or not, the way your body processes fluids and manages sleep is deeply influenced by your internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm. And the habits we follow in the late afternoon and evening can either support that clock or throw it completely off balance. When it's off, your brain sends mixed messages to your bladder. So even if your kidneys aren't overproducing urine, your bladder may still wake you up unnecessarily. Let's break this down. Your circadian rhythm controls hundreds of tiny functions in your body, including when your bladder becomes more relaxed and when it becomes more alert. In a properly aligned rhythm, your bladder calms down at night, letting you sleep longer without interruption. But when that rhythm is disrupted, often by too much artificial light at night or irregular sleep patterns, your brain doesn't release melatonin the way it should. And melatonin does more than help you fall asleep. It also helps tell your kidneys and bladder that it's time to slow down for the night. So if you're staring at a bright television, tablet, or phone late into the evening, or if your home lights are too bright after sunset, your body thinks it's still daytime. It holds off on releasing melatonin, and that confusion keeps your bladder more active than it needs to be. What happens next? You find yourself waking up at 200 a.m. or 330 a.m., not because your bladder is full, but because your internal clock is out of step with the natural rhythm it once followed. Now here's something hopeful you can fix that. One of the simplest ways is to manage your light exposure more intentionally in the evening. Try dimming the lights around your home after 7 p.m., especially overhead lights. Switch to softer, warmer lighting. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed, or use blue light filters if you absolutely must use them. These small changes signal to your body that night is approaching. Your melatonin starts to rise naturally, and your bladder starts to settle down, just as nature intended. I once spoke with a 74-year-old man named Richard who used to wake up 3 times every single night. He tried everything, cutting back on fluids, avoiding caffeine, even medication. Nothing worked long-term, but when he finally began dimming his lights, powering off his phone at least an hour before bed, and sticking to a set bedtime, even when he wasn't sleepy, he was shocked at the results. After just 2 weeks, he was sleeping through most nights again. Not because his bladder changed, but because his brain finally got the message it's nighttime, and it's time to rest. You see, this isn't just about tricking your body, it's about honoring the rhythm your body is already wired to follow. Most of us grew up with a natural sunrise and sunset guiding our routines. But with modern life, we've drowned that out with bright bulbs and glowing screens. Our bodies are confused, and our bladders are paying the price. So this is your invitation to reclaim your rhythm. It costs nothing. It doesn't require a prescription or a new gadget. Just a dimmer switch, some patience, and the commitment to give your body the environment it needs to rest. Don't underestimate the power of light. Don't overlook the quiet influence of habit. Sometimes the most powerful change is the one you make slowly, night by night, in the quiet of your own home. Number 6, evening relaxation and bladder retraining. Now let's talk about something that doesn't come in a bottle, doesn't cost a dime, and yet can be one of the most powerful tools you have for sleeping through the night without bathroom interruptions, calming your nervous system before bed. Because here's what most people don't realize. Your bladder doesn't just respond to liquid volume. It also reacts to your emotional state. If you go to bed feeling anxious, restless, or wired from the day, your bladder can misinterpret those signals as urgency, even when it's only holding a small amount of urine. This phenomenon is often called bladder oversensitivity, and it becomes more common with age. Why? Because as we grow older, the nerves that communicate between the brain and bladder become more easily stimulated. And if you're carrying stress, tension, or even just low-level worry into the night, those nerves don't settle down. They stay active, firing signals that say, time to go, even when your bladder isn't actually full. That's why so many seniors feel the need to urinate in the middle of the night, even when their fluid intake has been modest. But here's the truth, your bladder can be retrained. And calming your nervous system is one of the most important ways to start. I'm not talking about deep, complex meditation or anything overwhelming. I'm talking about a simple wind-down ritual before bed. Just like children sleep better with a bedtime routine, so do adults, especially those of us past 60. That ritual might be something as simple as a warm shower followed by 5 minutes of deep breathing in a quiet room. Or maybe it's listening to soft music or an audiobook while doing gentle stretches in the living room. You don't need incense chanting or a guru. You just need to tell your nervous system, in consistent ways, it's safe. It's bedtime. You can let go now. There's even research that shows the bladder muscle, the detrusor muscle, becomes more cooperative when the body is in a relaxed, parasympathetic state. That's the rest and digest mode of your nervous system, the opposite of fight or flight. And that state doesn't come from sheer willpower. It comes from slowing down your breathing, softening your muscles, and creating an environment where your body doesn't feel the need to be on high alert. I met a 76-year-old woman named Judy who had been waking up 4 or 5 times a night for years. She had accepted it as part of aging, even though she hated how tired she felt in the morning. Her doctor ruled out infection and overactive bladder, but the problem persisted. Then one night, her granddaughter, who studies psychology, suggested trying a relaxation routine before bed. Judy started with just 10 minutes dimming the lights, turning off the news, putting on soft music, and doing simple breathing exercises while lying in bed. Within 2 weeks, her nightly bathroom trips had dropped to 1, sometimes none. And she said, I never thought it would be this easy. And it's not just the relaxation, it's the consistency. When your body learns that bedtime means peace, quiet, and calm, it starts to cooperate. Your bladder stops overreacting. Your sleep deepens. And most importantly, you begin to trust your body again. So what can you take away from this? Your bladder isn't the enemy. In fact, it's doing its best to protect you. But sometimes the wires get crossed. Stress tells your body to be on guard. Tension tells your muscles to tighten. And your bladder, trying to be helpful, sends you running to the bathroom just in case. But once your nervous system knows it's safe to relax, and once you've built that into a nightly rhythm, everything starts to shift. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. If you've made it this far, I want to say something important, and I hope you really let it sink in. Needing to get up at night to urinate doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean your age is catching up with you in some final, irreversible way. It just means your body is trying to send you signals. And sometimes, with all the noise of daily life, we misinterpret those signals, or we never learned how to respond to them differently in the first place. But now you know better. And when you know better, you can do better. So as you close this video and think about your evening ahead, I invite you to choose one idea, just one that resonated with you today. Maybe it's skipping the evening cup of black tea. Maybe it's doing 5 simple pelvic floor contractions before brushing your teeth. Maybe it's turning off the news and turning on a calming audiobook instead. That one small step might be the first of many. You are not alone. There are thousands, millions of people who've faced this exact same frustration, who've walked the same dim hallway to the bathroom at 2 in the morning, gripping the walls, cursing their age, wondering if this is just how life will be from now on. But then they tried something new, and for many of them, things changed. You can be one of those people. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.